It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second.
I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on.
Diddy. The name brings to mind music mogul, businessman, and the face of success in Hollywood. But what if I told you that in one courtroom, his carefully crafted image came crumbling down by the single post of someone he once mentored? Today, we dive into one of the most shocking moments in celebrity courtrooms, where Diddy lost it, not in the way you would expect. Stay tuned, because what you are about to see will not only challenge your perception of the man, but reveal a side of the music industry that most people never get to see. What pushed Diddy to the edge? How did Justin Bieber's post change everything? And what exactly happened behind those courtroom doors? Let us find out.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to?
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad. Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful.
Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie For the Times of Their Lives, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark, so I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully, but yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters and
Diddy walked into the courtroom with the kind of confidence that made you believe he could charm his way out of anything. Clad in a sharp, tailored suit surrounded by a powerhouse legal team, he looked every bit the successful mogul he had become. But despite his seemingly perfect facade, there was something wrong. It was not the usual calm he exuded, not today. The room was unusually tense, and the air felt thick with something unspoken. This was not a normal day in court. Security had been ramped up, extra guards had been stationed at key points, and the mood felt different. Diddy was scanning the room with an almost frantic energy, something no one had seen from him before. His eyes darted from person to person, and every few moments he would glance at his phone with a look of mounting unease. Despite all of his outward composure, Diddy was on edge. Little did anyone know that in just a few moments, everything would change. This would not be the day he would walk out with his reputation intact. Then, the door swung open and Cassie entered. The contrast could not have been starker. Where Diddy had security on his side, Cassie had her friends. She was dressed simply, a black dress with a white collar. Nothing flashy, yet it made a statement. As she entered the room, all eyes turned to her, but she did not flinch. She stood tall, walked confidently to her seat, and sat down. Around her, her friends created a protective circle. They were not hired guards or security. These were people who genuinely cared about her. The entire room seemed to notice the difference. Diddy was surrounded by hired muscle, but Cassie had something far more powerful: loyalty. There was a clear divide, and it was not just about security. It was about trust. Diddy could not seem to take his eyes off his phone. His composure was slipping, his usual confidence wavering. With each passing second, the unease that had settled in his eyes deepened. He checked his phone again, this time a longer glance, almost as if he was waiting for something.
In time, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and this co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking of Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial violence. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of a Jane Doe who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000.
And then, just like that, everything changed. As the courtroom settled, something explosive was unfolding outside. Justin Bieber, Diddy's former protege, posted a message on social media that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. But this was not just any post. This was a declaration. Bieber had witnessed Diddy's behavior up close. He was not just offering vague words of support for Cassie. Bieber spoke directly about the control and manipulation he had seen. He detailed moments where Diddy had publicly humiliated Cassie, grabbing her arm at after parties, cutting her off in interviews, and making her feel small. It was not a subtle hint. It was Bieber taking a stand. And when that post went live, everything in the courtroom shifted. The tension in the room skyrocketed as everyone, including Diddy, realized that the world now knew Bieber had gone public, and his millions of followers were about to flood the internet with the message. Diddy's perfect image, built over decades, was at risk of coming apart at the seams.
Go through anything I went through, I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I mean, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, you know, and like.
Yeah. It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, like, the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems in my life.
Back in the courtroom, Diddy's composure was starting to unravel. He was not the same man who had walked in that morning. His eyes were wide, his fists were clenched, and his jaw tightened with a fury that seemed to be building inside him. It was clear. Bieber's post had struck a nerve. The entire courtroom could feel the shift. Diddy's legal team, who had been whispering with him earlier in an attempt to calm him down, now looked concerned. His lawyer tried to steady him, but Diddy was not having it. He shrugged the lawyer off, his hands shaking as he clenched them into fists. His body language was erratic, the calm, composed mogul fading into something much darker. The courtroom was on edge. Everyone could sense the storm brewing. It was not just about the trial anymore. Diddy was losing control, and it seemed like it was only a matter of time before something catastrophic would happen. When Cassie took the stand, it was like the calm after the storm. She did not flinch, she did not react, she simply stood strong. The contrast between her and Diddy could not have been more striking. Cassie's testimony was calm, collected, and devastating. She detailed the years of control and manipulation she had suffered, recounting the emotional and psychological toll it had taken on her. The text messages Diddy had sent her were laid bare for everyone to see. One exchange showed Diddy demanding to know where she was every minute, threatening to end her career if she did not comply. In another, he demanded she reveal her exact location at all times. The courtroom gasped as Cassie spoke. It was one thing for Bieber to share his account online, but hearing it directly from Cassie added an entire layer of credibility. She was not just a victim speaking out, she was taking back her narrative. She was fighting for her truth, and then she revealed something no one expected, something so shocking it made everyone in the room take a step back.
He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish. And Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted.
Protect Billie Eilish from what? From who? I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything. 18 years old, and I should mention he was signed by Usher to a label that was owned jointly by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and he was considered Usher's protege. He has been described Usher as his mentor. Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to his original mentor. So this is a very big story, and the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon.
The damage was done. Diddy's outburst not only shattered his carefully constructed image, but also made him look guilty in the eyes of everyone watching. As the judge called for an immediate recess, the tension in the room reached a boiling point. Cassie sat there, calm and composed, while Diddy's legal team huddled in panic. His lawyers looked like they had aged 10 years in a matter of minutes. The security around Diddy tightened, but it was too late. The world had seen his true nature, and when the recess ended, the courtroom would never be the same. By the end of day 2, it was clear that the power dynamics had shifted. Cassie, once the victim, now had the upper hand. She had exposed Diddy for what he truly was, and the world was watching. Bieber's post had acted as a catalyst, forcing the public to question everything they thought they knew about the music mogul. Diddy, the man who had once controlled so many lives, was now at the mercy of the truth. And as more stars came forward in support of Cassie, the question remained, who else would speak up next? How many others were waiting for the courage to follow Bieber's lead? This was not just a courtroom battle. It was the fall of an empire and the rise of a woman who refused to stay silent.